Hello, my name is Maria Besubova and you're at my channel Fertilizers Jazz. Here we talk about events, trends, technologies in the world of fertilizers and agriculture. Please subscribe to the channel, put like to this video, and let's jazz! Today I'm very glad to make a deep dive into the situation in the southern European markets with an accomplished agronomist with over than 20 years of experience in agricultural industry, currently working as a freelance consultant for Fertiland, Bulgaria, Trifon Vasilev. It is quite a challenging situation for both European farmers and fertilizers producers now when we speak. From the one hand, low crops prices and low fertilizers affordability put future season and its results at threat. But from the other hand, fertilizers producers also suffer from high feedstock prices and lack of effective regulations for low-priced imports that are coming to Europe, specifically from Russia. And on top of that, effect of European Green Deal implementation is putting additional pressure. So in these challenging times we meet and we'll try to bring more light into these and other questions. I'm happy to have you today here with me, Trifon, and thank you very much for joining me.
Hello, Maria. It's a true honor to be in your podcast, and I wish you to have thousands of editions ahead. I wish also to have these channels so helpful for the farmers and to the people in our environment, because we needed this podcast, we needed this news to be circulating in our environment. So wish you lots of success ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hopefully soon we will have many followers. Trifon, you're from Bulgaria, and for over than 20 years you focus on the markets of Southern Europe. So you are the right expert to make a deep dive into the current situation there. My first question to you will be about the status of the crops after the severe heat wave that hit south of Europe recently. For example, in Ukraine, here the forecast of grains and oilseeds was corrected downwards by 2.8 million tons, almost 4%, as a result of this heat wave. So what do you see for the southern European countries, and how farmers evaluate future crops perspective?
Yeah, Maria, the situation is truly challenging, and in the past several weeks, I'm spending time on farm level with different farmers from different segments, and the situation with the spring crops is definitely not good. I've been even trying to find the good examples to see how they are managing the situation, but in reality, the heat wave which hit the region is truly severe. We were expecting worse results with the sunflower, but the sunflower is relatively good versus the corn. The corn in Serbia, in Bulgaria, in Romania as well, southern Romania especially, is struggling. And actually, okay, it's clear that the results will be worse than last year. For example, the generated production in 2022 was 2.7 million tons only from Bulgaria. Then in 2023, it fell down to 2.3 million tons. And now the people are, the observers are expecting going lower than 2 million tons. Nobody can predict how much exactly, because in some regions we can hear that 80% of the corn is failed. And most of the people right now, by the way, the farmers that we meet, they started rapidly progressing into producing silage until they've got the momentum. But the silage is very challenging way to preserve the stocks after that. So it's not a solution, definitely. And in reality, now the farmers are waiting for maybe 1 month ahead to see what will happen with the wheat, because the wheat in general was performing very well. Okay, in northern Bulgaria, there were records. For example, in a farm where the average yield supposed to be 6.5 tons per hectare from hectare, now they are approaching around 8 tons, which is the good news. In southern Bulgaria, there is a slight decline, but anyhow, now they are waiting for the wheat prices to increase so that they have some way to compensate the damages that are going to be done here. When we talk about damages, we talk about significant figure, because, for example, in Serbia, the corn is around 35-36% from the total acreages there. The soybean also is affected there. And when we put on the map all the production in the region, including Romania, it is going into a third year in a negative circumstances in these challenges in which we already see some restructuring in the market. What does it mean? Farmers are not in insolvency, but we see, for example, one case from the past 2 months. One big player, agricultural producer, acquired 26 farms in Bulgaria, which is a sign that the situation is worsening. Even when we speak with farmers who are having this from other generations, the farming as a main activity, they wonder and they don't know how they will be able to pass ahead. Okay, negative is negative. You can also see everywhere also the positive side of the things. But in general, now, due to this situation, the farmers are not thinking of purchasing fertilizers at all. They are waiting to see what will happen again with the wheat. I'm also referring that to the OCID rape, where the price is good. At the moment, the last price was 460 exports or FOB Bulgaria, but we have a sluggish production there, around 74,000 hectares, and this is nothing to add value on the whole negative picture. So in general, the situation is tough, but yeah, we think that in any way, I mean, the farmers and the people who work with the farmers, we think that in any way there will be some resolution. Now the people are watching over the situation in Brazil, because if there is no rain, which is not good again, something negative is happening to the other part of the world, but this will push the prices of the wheat a little bit up. This is not for sure. Even the grain analysts are not optimistic orientated in this way, but we wait. For the time being, we wait. The demand is not here. And when the demand comes, my prediction is that it will be related again to the cheapest fertilizers. Not talk about ammonium nitrate or calcium ammonium nitrate, but the cheapest per ton, which is strange. For example, in the previous years, prior to the pandemic, we started with MP and NPK grades with at least 90% solubility of the phosphorus in water. And eventually, with the rising competition, some formulations started to appear like 825, 826 from Tunisia, which is with 37 or 47% solubility of the phosphorus. That means that you are going to put rock on farm level. This is not true fertilizer. Now, Maria, the main imports are with these products. Greece, Helagolip is producing 826, pushing to Bulgaria. Tunisia is here with the same grade. The Swiss traders are here with 826 from Spain. And everybody are going into this low category segment because these are the conditions, unfortunately.
Yeah, indeed. So the situation is quite tough for all Southern European producers. So, and how do you see what will be the consumption of fertilizers in this case? Obviously, farmers lack financial resource. And also, when we look at the international markets, the price of corn and soybean are also under great pressure because of all these huge crops that will come from the US and Brazil. So perhaps it will hit also European farmers as well. So in this situation, what is your expectation for the fertilizer consumption?
In regard to the consumption, definitely there will be corrections downwards. Starting from the Bulgarian market, we usually have around 1.1 to 1.2 million tons of fertilizers. We're a nitrate market, similarly to Romania. And eventually, what would happen? I think that there will be one new scenario, which I hope that most of the traders will absorb, and this will be to target the farmers who are the landowners, because there, no matter how hard is the situation, there will still be some window for continuing this, for example, positive trend of the specialty fertilizers. In general, Bulgaria consumes around 300,000 tons urea. Romania is slightly above this, to between 350 and 400,000 tons. This is again figures based on the discussions from with our colleagues, because in general nobody comes to evaluate this market. There is no formal statement, but if this is the main fertilizer worldwide, this will remain static here. The only point where I see that there will be significant withdrawal from farmers, it will be the phosphates, because when you go to cut costs and then you start from the potassium, then we almost don't have imports of granular SOP and MOP, almost. It's very, very small figures, a few containers, below 1,000 tons was the last survey that we did, and we found out that this is truly strange. Then they are cutting from the phosphates, and here the phosphates, actually, there is a paradox. There is no demand, but the prices are rising. And this is in entire Europe, as I see. But again, when the people will be looking for better times and not applying phosphorus, this is not okay. In reality, I mentioned this several times during the last conferences, because everybody say that this is improving the situation. This is how we even combat the climate change, when we put the potassium inside to preserve the organic matter and other stuff. But in reality, people are cutting first from the specialties, but the landowners are remaining with the specialties. Then we go to the next stage of cutting phosphates. And I think that if this situation maintain, this consumption that we used to have with fertilizers, it will concentrate mainly on the nitrogenous fertilizers, because this is what we observed the past 3 years. The past 3 years, since 2022, it's a downward for the farmers, and we see that they, even when they buy only nitrogenous fertilizers, they cut from the rate per hectare, which is still not good. But at the end of the day, they've got fertilizers applied in the soil. For Romania, the same situation. I discuss with my colleagues very frequently. Right now, Constanța have lots of tons of fertilizers from different regions. Even had a meeting with Toros recently from Turkey, and they also trying to push some MP and APKs there. But yeah, the demand for these products is missing. Hopefully, it will recover if some changes appear in the prices of the grains. Otherwise, we will see some negative scenario for another consecutive year.
Indeed, yes, indeed. But also a situation from the producer's side, I mean, fertilizers producer side is not that bright, unfortunately. So from the farmer's side, farmers don't have financial resource to finance their purchases of fertilizers. And from the producer's side, we see that gas prices quite high and high level for already some time, let's say, and recent hike in the European gas price because of this uncertainty in terms of supply from the Middle East, it pressures even more. And also we see, and also we see that ammonia price, specifically west of Suez, is increasing. So all these factors, they of course push the competitiveness down of European fertilizers producers. So in this this respect, how do you see, what is your view upon the current state of producers of fertilizers in this southern...
The current state, what I see, Maria, is that if in the past there's supposed to be a structure of how the business is being done, now if there is a demand for even one truck somewhere, Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, everybody are there for this one truck. Okay, I put it maybe too expressively, but in reality, now the producers which are in our range, like Petrochimia, Elixir, Azumuresh, Agropolychem, Agrolip, especially in the region here where I operate in Bulgaria, Romania, and Greece, I see that everybody are fighting for a single deal, because such a missing of demand has not been expressed so well in the past. Okay, when we talk about the competitiveness, we should not forget that we are in the border between the Western world and the Russian state of production of fertilizers. I used to have a conversation with a Swiss trader in the past who told me, Trifon, you have the huge disadvantage to be based in Bulgaria because all the Swiss traders, when they try to sell something, it's very good to be sold in Central Europe and Western Europe. But when, as much as you come to our region, the competitiveness is slowing down because the Russian impact here is on place. The Russian impact is here, and we've got several imports of MP 2020 with APP, the ammonium polyphosphate, and still these products are allowed in the region, and the farmers are going for them because if somebody is going to buy MP, this is the cheapest source for the moment. Just for a comparison, the current price of such products are around 400 euro. 2020 is around 400 euro. Ex-works Burgas, the port of Burgas. While, for example, product from Elixir, like, okay, 1020, which is with lower units, is around 390 euro. So you see, it's almost the same price, but the units are missing. And in this concern, right now, that's why the other plants are trying to be competitive by offering lower grades, as I mentioned, between 37 and 50% solubility of the phosphorus, so that they come with some formula like 1025 or 826. And when we refer also to the production of, let's say, other products, due to the lack of demand, Agrolip announced 260 euro a special price for calcium ammonium nitrate in order to push, and the requirement was to be paid in one and withdrawn for 1 week, which again is not bringing this momentum that some demand will rise because of the price or because of some other conditions. In general, everybody right now, all the factories that I mentioned are producing for Ukraine, and the facts are obvious why. But when it comes to the moment for them to defend from the Russian imports, Croatia did a very good example, by the way. They initiated 200 metric tons discharge per 24 hours. And this is peanuts. So when they put this rule, they try to preserve their inner market and their production. And I think that the way of the others to follow is similar. But yeah, we live in challenging times. So creativity should appear at a certain moment.
Indeed, indeed. I hope that there will be some regulation coming in place soon for maybe the whole Europe to keep away this flood, of low-priced material, because indeed the fertilizers producers are suffering, and that is the way how to preserve your own place, your own market. And do you feel that there is some other competition? Yes, of course. So apart from this low-priced Russian product, which we will never be able to compete with, is there some other competition which currently you feel in your markets, which is also like a threat to the domestic producers?
Currently, only as a competition. When there is a competition between the factories, the plants, the producers, this is good for the farmers because this is how they are achieving the better state of pricing. When we talk about, let's say, foreign sources, some imports, nothing actually at the moment is taking place. Even I see that the Russian players, okay, the Bulgarian representatives of the Russian players here, they are cutting from their lots in order to be keeping within the real picture. So in regard to the competitiveness at the moment, this is not the problem. The problem is the demand. And as I mentioned, for a third consecutive year, the demand is missing at the right time when everybody are ready to operate. The season is delaying. Right now we're in August and we feel like we're in the harvest time in the beginning of July. I met one of the largest owners of land in the region, 120,000 hectares own land. He's renting this land, this owner, but he actually has got a production, and the production is only 5,000 hectares. And when I asked him, why are you doing this? Why only so little? He said that you should be ready to lose in 3 years, in a row. And now I see that this is happening. He told me this 2 years ago. And unfortunately, the picture is skeptical, but let's see what the future will unfold. For the time being, no competitiveness, no foreign sources that can affect the local production of Agropolychem, Agrolip, and Elixir, which are the mainly dominant companies here in the region. Even Elixir announced their prices, and I see that they are not bad. Between, for example, 1620 is around 450 euro per ton. For the 624.12 is 470 euro per ton. So these prices are workable, but in reality, there's no competition, no demand.
Yeah.
We should wait.
Yes, that's quite a gloomy situation, I would say. And unfortunately, there is another topic that provokes a lot of discussion, and it also relates to competitiveness of European producers and also farmers, of course. And it is related to European Green Deal. So what is your view upon this green revolution or green fertilizers, and especially the rapid pace of implementation of this regulation for Europe? So how do you think it will influence farming in general, and of course fertilizers part of the market?
The initiative is very nice, indeed. And every one of us would appreciate to have some green product on the table, and we actually strive for this. But eventually, when only Europe is doing this, I don't find the sense, and I see how challenging it is for the farmers, how difficult it is for them, how this they started with the economical measures and how many penalties they receive from this. Now they moved into the green side. Okay, this is good. Another requirement. They are applying some fertilizers, but eventually, when only they are doing this, they are not competitive. We in the fertilizer sector are not competitive versus what's entering. And at the end of the day, we should all operate in a one closed world rather than having other players engaged in this initiative. But I very much liked the case with Fertiberia, for example, and I think that if others follow, at least this can be generated as a new marketing segment, let's call it this way, because PepsiCo was going to cover the potato producers. Okay, big companies are entering on farm level. Heineken is entering to brew barley, which is coming again from zero emissions. This type of scenarios, if happen, then it's okay, but it should not be as a must, because right now some of the farmers, even though they don't even receive the subsidies, they have to receive some subsidies for these products, and they are not receiving them. And this is the main problem right now, especially in Bulgaria, because they are also planning a strike. They have penalties, and they also don't have paid subsidies. But in reality, this is actually where we should go, because there should be an upgrade of the farming. Because overall, back in 2018, together with Ecofo, I used to be part of their team until recently. We started from the deep dive, where are the most specialty fertilizers, and thinking green before actually everybody put something green as a requirement. But we saw that in price perspective, the market is not ready for this. We started blending controlled release fertilizers with standard fertilizers just to make the controlled release adaptable for grain farming, because in reality this thing cost thousands and more euro per ton. But this vanished. This stayed on pause somewhere. And right now, these green fertilizers are a matter of interest for the farmers, at least here in the region, mainly for the subsidy. It's good that they are entering some positive things, like recovering the microorganism from the soil, increasing the consumption of nitrogen, which is in the soil, and adding extra nitrogen. Okay, this is super. But again, if there is no subsidy for this, only maybe at the end of the day, the landowners will be taking care of this category. For me, this is a must-do. This should be in the basket, but should not be done only by the European farmers. If we talk about production of any aspect of green, let's say, production, and in regard to the specialties, which are actually that part of the game, right now I'm starting this initiative with the inhibitors already to be sold on plant production level. I mean, producers, fertilizers and blenders, because in reality, to keep within the Green Deal, all the traders also, starting from the farmers, the traders, and the producers of fertilizers, they have to find a way to propose a final product which to be giving this final effect. And I think the inhibitors, which were something like a funny story 10 years ago, right now will be the daily story for all participants on the market.
Indeed, yes, fully agree with you. And which other segments, let's say, of specialty fertilizers do you think have most of potential for European farmers? So yes, inhibitors, yes. How about, specialties, water solubles, for example, or maybe some other things which will help to bring more harvest and still keep the price relatively low?
Yeah, in this perspective, there is one big elephant in the room, and this is the lack of irrigation for our region. It all depends of how progressively the local governments, Bulgaria, Romania are striving for this, but the things are not happening. They come, some governmental officials are coming to promise something on conferences, then the things are not happening or not with the required pace. And eventually, when we talk about other specialty fertilizers, because also the water solubles like water soluble NPKs and potassium, calcium nitrate, and other similar products, they are considered as specialties in the fertilizer sector. Now, the current state of consuming these fertilizers is not big at all in Bulgaria and Romania, but Greece is dominant because the irrigation is there for many years. And if we compensate with this will increase the market of these products. So if rather than talking about which products will be the driver, actually here we need a policy to drive all this consumption to rise. We also need to look on farm level and to see, is the current technology too old? Do the farmers use it for decades? Do they need to change something? Because in reality, what we initiated 5 years ago and didn't happen was that, for example, some nice producers in Europe are producing already PKs, which are also specialties, granular. PKs applied in the autumn so that you don't go with DAP or MOP separately. Go with the nitrogen in the spring, and that thing had a lot of sense. But eventually, someone to change technology is very tough. They don't even will to test. So yeah, these are the two things that I see as a development for the specialties, and I think that initiated the right policies from the governments. And secondly, changing the status quo with some technologies. Okay, when it's working, let it stay. But let's examine new technologies like the one that I mentioned, because I saw that this was a good idea, but it didn't come to reality. And when we talk about products, eventually, all the blenders who apply creativity, like not blending the typical formulas, but switching from blends to inhibition, because to the blends, they can adapt nozzles to spray and to inhibit urea. Currently, we see that some plants are doing this on production level, plants, not blenders. In Greece, for example, there is one plant. This is Nea Carvalho, Agrolip. They are using every momentum to put something in the fertilizers, and they are treating also some urea. And this is a sign for the other 10 blenders to make changes. Now in Greece, by the way, there is a huge problem because there was some financial turbulence with some supplier who actually couldn't pay to some blenders, and the blenders now are in collapse. Most of the blenders, maybe 70-80%. So there will be restructuring in Greece in this reflection. But why I mentioned Greece, because most of these new technologies and even the inhibitors came from there because they adopted it. They were the first ones to adopt it. And right now, the blenders everywhere in Southeastern Europe, and not only, can think creatively and go and try the inhibitors and try to blend to adapt the machinery in the way that actually bring more value to the farmers in the region. This is what I think is the next, and the biggest, let's say, target, and something that actually is the next step for the specialties in the market. If the plants producers like Agropolychem, Hewagrolip, Elixir, and others start already to import directly inhibited urea, which means that this is a message to Egypt and Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and all the sources of urea. The next phase will be directly to receive treated urea everywhere in the globe, not only in our region.
Yes, yes, indeed. But first of all, of course, let me wish to all our farmers good prices for the next season and good harvests, of course, so that they will be able to finance innovations and purchases of fertilizers at all. So
we'll be around them. We'll be helping them with our knowledge. So fingers crossed that really this scheme is working.
Indeed, indeed. I would like to thank you very much, Trifon. It was a great and insightful discussion. And I wish a lot of success to the farmers of Southern Europe and, of course, to you personally, all the success and a very, very good season, very good year. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Maria. Looking forward to seeing you soon, maybe in Istanbul for the Argus conference next month.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you, Trifon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for watching. Please let me know in the comments if you would like to see more deep dives into individual regional markets, and I will be very happy to walk you through with experts like Trifon. Please subscribe to the channel, put like to this video, and see you soon.